The more we look into human history, the less human it becomes. Every morning, before many people speak their first words, they perform a familiar ritual. They reach, they unlock, they enter. A small rectangle of glass becomes the first doorway they step through each day. Inside are symbols, tiny images arranged across a glowing screen. We call them apps, but throughout human history, symbols have carried meaning. They represented kings, nations, beliefs, ideas. Symbols have always been a way for humans to compress powerful messages into a single image. A crown, a flag, a cross, a logo. Today our symbols are no longer carved only into stone. Many of them are carried in our hands. So tonight, on Suspicious Minds, we examine the icons we interact with every day and ask, are they simply tools, or have they become something more? A symbol is powerful because it communicates without words. A single image can trigger emotions, memories, and beliefs. Throughout history, civilizations understood this. They built monuments around symbols. They placed them on coins. They carried them into battle. They used them to represent invisible ideas. Today, the same principle exists in modern design. A company spends millions creating an image that people recognize instantly. A symbol becomes a shortcut. You see it, and your mind already knows what it means. The modern world is filled with these symbols. They surround us so completely that we rarely stop to question them. For thousands of years, humans created special places dedicated to what mattered most. Temples, libraries, monuments, places designed to capture attention. Today, many of our most visited spaces are not made of stone. They fit inside our pockets. The home screen of a phone is carefully arranged. The apps we place closest to us are the ones we return to most often. The colors, the shapes, the placement, all designed to guide interaction. Every tap begins a journey. Every notification invites a response. And repeated actions become habits. Habits become routines. And routines become rituals. Perhaps nowhere is the power of icons more obvious than social media. A camera, a message bubble, a notification symbol. Simple images that open entire worlds. These platforms allow us to share our lives, connect with others, and communicate instantly. But they also created something new, a digital reflection of ourselves, a place where identity can be created edited, and displayed. The profile becomes a carefully chosen version of the self. The image becomes the introduction. The reaction becomes the measurement. And the question becomes, how much of our digital reflection shapes how we see ourselves? For ancient civilizations, knowledge was often guarded in libraries, schools, and sacred texts. Today, knowledge is accessed through a search bar. A question is entered, an answer appears in seconds. The smartphone became a doorway to information unlike anything previous generations experienced. But information is not only about answers, it is also about influence. What we search for determines what we encounter. What we encounter shapes what we think about. And what we repeatedly see can begin to shape our understanding of the world. The question is not whether technology gives us information. It does. The question is, how do we decide what information deserves our trust? The mirror has fascinated humanity for centuries. It represents identity, reflection, the search to understand ourselves. The camera icon transformed that relationship. Now we do more than look at ourselves. We capture ourselves, store ourselves, share ourselves. The photograph became a memory. The profile became a representation. The archive became permanent. A traditional mirror disappears when you walk away. A digital reflection can remain long after the moment has passed. Money has always been connected to symbols. Coins carried faces. Paper carried signatures. Numbers represented value. Today, much of our financial world exists behind icons, wallet apps, banking apps, payment systems. The physical exchange has become digital. With convenience comes a new kind of record. Every transaction tells a story. Every purchase creates a pattern. Every choice leaves information behind. The question is not whether technology makes life easier. It does. The question is, what do we trade for that convenience? Throughout history, bells have called people to attention. They announced events. They marked time. They gathered communities. Today, another sound demands our attention. The notification, a small vibration, a glowing number, a tiny symbol telling us something is waiting. These alerts are designed to bring us back to the screen, back to the app, back into the cycle. The modern world competes for one of the most valuable resources, attention. Stories have always been powerful. Humans gathered around fires to share them. We built theaters to experience them. We created books, music, and film. Today, entertainment lives behind icons. A play button, a streaming service, a pair of headphones. These symbols open doors to endless stories, and stories influence how we understand heroes, villains, love, fear, and the world around us. The question is not whether stories influence us. They always have. The question is, are we choosing the stories we consume, or are they choosing us? This episode is not about rejecting technology. Technology is one of humanity's greatest creations. It connects us, educates us, gives us abilities previous generations could only imagine. But history also teaches us something important. The things we surround ourselves with shape our attention. Our attention shapes our habits, and our habits shape our very life. So the next time you unlock your phone, take a moment, look at the symbols waiting there. Ask yourself, what do these icons represent? What habits do they create? What stories are they telling? Maybe they are just icons. Maybe they're something more. But one thing is certain, the symbols we carry tell a story. This is Suspicious Mind.